So the next thing we want to do is have our program ask us at random what the sine or the cosine or the tangent of that particular unit circle angle we've been given at random is. Since we want to mix it up each time, and sometimes that's a sine, sometimes cosine, etc., we're going to use random variables to do that. So I created a new variable called trig value, and I set that trig value to be one of the three random numbers, 1, 2, or 3. One's going to correlate to sine, 2 cosine, and 3 tangent. Later on in the homework assignment, you'll be extending it to also account for secant, cosecant, and cotangent. When we're doing the sine, cosine, and tangent coding, to ask and check if the answer is correct, there's going to be a lot of redundancy. Sine, cosine, tangent, the coding is almost identical, except when you check it, you're checking against sine, or you're checking against cosine, or you're checking against tangent. So to help eliminate some of that kind of duplicate coding, we're going to create a block, and that block I just called trig process, and it's going to have one numerical input. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see that our trig process block is right here. So what it's going to do is going to see if our answer is correct. If it's correct, it's going to say great job. You can press the green flag for additional practice. If it's wrong, otherwise, it's going to say it's incorrect. It's going to give you the correct answer, and then it's going to draw in the correct triangle, the correct right triangle that defines that angle and standard position. And we'll get to this other block later in the next step. And then it will clear the writing, the pen, and then if you got it wrong, it's going to take you to another page, and that other page is just going to be a slide of information that goes over that particular trig value and shows you kind of a quick worked out example, so you can hopefully understand and see what you did wrong. And again, we'll get to this broadcasting message later in the last step, so you can see how to make new slides and how to change to that slide if the student got the answer wrong. Okay. One thing that you have to pay attention to in this block when you're checking the answer is that in Scratch you can't really enter in radical numbers, or you can't enter in fractions. So you're going to have to enter in as a decimal approximation, and in the coding above it kind of reminds the student user to make sure that they enter it in with the decimal form. But this kind of gives it some leeway, so it doesn't have to be perfectly exact. You can have some leeway in the answer. So that's what all this stuff with the Boolean operators is implying here. So take a look over that and see if you can create that block. And again, we'll get into this broadcasting the wrong sine or the wrong cosine answer to switch to the other slide in the last step. Okay, and then going back to the random numbers, that's where we're showing our trig process block for when it asks you the sine. The numerical operator that you're putting in is the sine of the angle. For cosine, it's the cosine of the angle. Remember, angle is just the item one, the only thing in the angles list, and so on. All right. So watch through this video a couple times if you need to, and I'll also post the coding pictures below as well.